Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. This is going to be kind of an abbreviated beginning of June garden tour. This is just going to be things that I put in the landscape during the month of May. Some things that have gone in toward the end of the month of May or the beginning of June that you guys haven't seen the videos for. And then some things that are in flower right now that haven't flowered thus far this year that have gone in past videos. So it'll be a quick walkthrough of those things. I've got plants going in the ground all over the place. I've really accelerated a lot of planting here in the last couple of weeks. And like I say, there's a lot of videos that haven't gone up yet on those items, but you'll see them in this video. And then I'm about, right after I get a lot of this planting done, I'm gonna be pine strawing or using hardwood mulch or whatever, different mulches in different spaces here. And once that's done, I'll do a more thorough tour later in the month of June and put the drone up and show you how everything is coming along. But I have, like I say, I have accelerated a lot, doing a lot of planting here over the last few weeks. Like I say, some of it you've seen and some of it you have not. So let's get started walking around. For those of you who don't know, I had a big giant hailstorm this month that really wreaked havoc in my yard. Here's a SCAEVOLA right here that got hit, very minor damage, but that one looked dead actually after the hailstorm. I had hail the size of tennis balls here. I'll show you a spot on the side of my house. I have to get a new roof and siding on two sides of my house. That is the chaos that was caused by that. These annuals that I put in either at the end, right at the end of April or right at the beginning of May are looking great. The SCAEVOLA, the Dusty Miller there, and then all of these perennials that were put in. The bees are loving these. This salvia right here actually got cut down to just almost nothing. And it has responded really, really quickly. Hailstone right to the center of that thing. It looked dead that morning, but it is really, in 2.5 weeks or so, come back from the dead. The Russian sage and everything here is just looking fantastic. All coming back into full bloom. I cut these very hard when I first put them in the ground. This space behind it looks great. These Shasta daisies are just amazing. Had a big rainstorm last night that's knocked them over a little bit, but they should. Some of them will stand back up. Some of them will just continue to lay over, and I'll go ahead and cut them down. That sunshine ligustrum is looking great. There were a few more perennials put in over here, and you can see my need to mulch in any of these areas where I have just newly planted things. The mulch is so thin that I really don't have enough to put back around them after I plant something now. So I'll get that taken care of very soon. This is LEUCANTHEMUM, and there's some agapanthus that went in during the month right there, some white and some purple agapanthus. All of my white wedding hydrangeas are just about to start blooming here. They're all budded up. I'll put up some photos of those on Instagram during the month, and I've got a couple more that are going in, but this whole group right here is just going to be really, really beautiful. This ANNABELLE hydrangea has come into full bloom. The flowers will be bigger on this next year. This is the first year it's in the ground, and they're pretty good size. I mean, there's my hand, you know, against that one. And so not small, but not as big as they will be in the future. I actually have a 2-minute video on that ANNABELLE hydrangea coming out in the next week or so. Right here, this weeping, this was kind of a sad find here. I didn't find this damage for a little while. Right here on this weeping cherry tree right here. I hope you can see that. A hailstone just hit it just perfect on the side there. It seems to be healing over okay, but I didn't find that damage. I continue to find damage weeks after this hailstorm. But the tree looks fine. I don't think it's in any kind of trouble or anything, but it did have a big chunk taken out of the side of it. A couple more things over here on the east side of my house. This is a Japanese maples looking beautiful this year. In fact, everything in the yard just looks absolutely perfect, and I think I'm going to do a fertilizer follow-up video pretty soon and talk about, you know, the fertilizer I used because everything in my yard just looks spectacular. And I went through an extremely dry period of time for the last month and offered these things very little water, but this vanilla twist redbud, which I show in way too many videos just because I love it so much, it's just fantastic. And look at the size of the leaves on this thing. They're every bit as big as my hand almost. This thing is super happy in this space. If I go back here a little bit further, oakleaf hydrangeas just look really, really beautiful here. This Munchkin Oakleaf hydrangea, I have a 2-minute video coming out on it, but everything else that I've planted along the perimeter over here all look great. My wax myrtles are growing pretty quick there. They should fill in pretty quickly over time. Got my shadow in the shot there, but this CLETHRA, which got knocked around in some storm last night, is looking great, but the flowers it's budded up to bloom. So I was just out there. This is the east side of my property. This is the northeast corner right here inside my fence, and this is super shady, and this is one of those examples of, this is a deer DOLOREST hydrangea, and it's really beautiful. Plant looks great. It's got flowers on it. It'll continue to bloom all summer, but it's a little bit sparse because I've got it in a little too much shade. I think I'm going to have to pop it out of the ground. I just planted 2 more in a little bit more sun on the south west side. It's got some trees blocking it over there. I'll show you those in a minute, but that's an example. It's so hard to find a good spot to grow a big leaf hydrangea in the southeast, because if I put it in too much sun, it wilts every afternoon. If I put it in the too much shade, it stretches out just a little bit. Again, it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I think it's beautiful, but it needs to be in just a little bit more sun than it's in. But everything back here in this darkest corner of my yard looks great right now. Now I'm on the south side of my house, right in front of my front porch, and but it is shady out here. These begonias went in this month, and they're looking fantastic right there. And then lawn got absolutely torched. It did not rain for a month. It starts to see some green coming back out in it, but I just did not irrigate. I don't irrigate turf. I just don't. I've actually got an irrigation system out there, but I'd much rather, if I'm going to budget money for water, it's going to be on these plants and not on that turf. Here's the HOSTA and CAREX planting that was done this past month, which looks really great. A couple of them are in containers here, and that CAREX is just so showy. Gosh, it's so showy. This front bed right here continues to look terrific right there. And then newly planted, and no video for it yet, there's a couple of deer DOLOREST hydrangeas and a couple of Big Daddy hydrangeas that went into this space. Again, it really rained hard last night. It knocked this stuff around pretty good. These containers that I did for that will eventually be hanging baskets look pretty good, but the rain really knocked the flowers back on those a little bit last night as well. What else went in this month? That FATSIA right there went in during the month of May, and there's a video for it. Absolutely beautiful variegated FATSIA there. Coming back into this area, everything back here in this corner looks great. This Miss Lemon ABELIA went in this month, and there's several more going right here on an arc. I just had one at the time that I planted this one. There's a couple of orange rocket barberries right here, and they're actually going to continue around as well. And that orange rocket barberry, which, let's get a close-up of that, just looks amazing. And it really looks amazing with that Miss Lemon ABELIA. All of the flowers that I did from seed are starting, a lot of them are starting to show some color, but over the next month or so, all of these wildflowers, these dwarf sunflowers look beautiful. Cosmos here, which I cut back recently, but it's starting to flower now. Another variety of Cosmos. I've got dahlias there. They'll be a little later in the summer, and zinnias over here. I just pruned all of these just to fill them out some. But all the vegetables, I haven't done an update video on the vegetables here in a while, but they all look terrific. The dogwood continues to bloom right here. This is all my compost right here. I'm growing all these plants in compost, and then I've moved the compost pile out to the end, so eventually they'll be growing in this space as well. This Empress of China dogwood continues to flower. It's been flowering for maybe 6 weeks or so, but look at this. This is another example of a hailstone hitting a plant, and there's just lots of them. If I went through every plant out here, I could show you almost every plant has some sort of issue from it, but they're all coming back out. The plant, it looks terrific. That one branch is not going to stunt this Empress of China dogwood, so I'm not really worried about it. This is the west side of my house over here with a wood line behind it. So it's getting absolutely blasted with sun. You can see on this tree right here, this is the sun, how the sun has made it up over my house enough, and then this side of my property cooks until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then those trees shade it. The first crepe myrtle flowers of the season in the yard. This is a dwarf purple one. It's every branch is budded up to bloom on it. This nightlight camiciferous is looking great. This is one of the big holes in the side of my house from the hail. This will give you some idea how big this hail was. There's my hand. That's probably 7 inches wide or so right there, and maybe 4 inches tall. I've got probably 6 holes like that, and then lots and lots of cracks as well in the siding. This pyracantha, which I had right up against the wall, I've pulled it away a little bit so this siding can be replaced. Over here on this side, these sunshine ligustrum are looking great. I've got a copper top viburnum video that I'm working on. There's those extra 2 white wedding hydrangeas. I'm gonna have a lot of those in my yard, but man, do they put on a show. There's some Delta Series crepe myrtles here. I'm actually gonna do a local giveaway on a couple of these pretty soon. I've got one, I don't know if you can see it, right here in front of that holly that it's planted in the ground. Man, is that thing showy. Moving over this way, all the agapanthus that were from last year's perennial videos. The flowers are coming right here, starting to open up. The Veronica here is starting to open up. This salvia that I planted and cut down to nothing when I planted it are all coming back into flower, and some of them from last year's planting are back up. Figs have just gone crazy. This is brown turkey fig here, and man, this thing is probably quadrupled in size this season. It's very, very happy in this space. That Miss Figgy fig is looking great as well. It won't grow as fast because it just doesn't. Basil's gone wild right there, and looking great. All of these boxwoods have to be pruned. All the boxwoods that I have in the yard, and lots of things need to be pruned, but I'm gonna do a hedging video on these boxwoods and on these sunshine ligustrum here in the next couple of weeks. But they look terrific. And blueberries, all the blueberry plants I have are looking great. These Gerber daisies are absolutely amazing. Right there, look how beautiful these flowers are. But that's that Garden Jewels orange Gerber daisy right there. And if I move around here, tomatoes have really started to take off. If I move around to here, yesterday I put in this lavender twist redbud right here. One of the problems with this space out here, and everything out here looks terrific. All the vegetables look terrific. All the perennials, all the pollinator things I put in for pollinators, all the shrubs. I mean, all of it looks great. The one problem is I can't put anything out here that gets a lot of height to it, or I'm going to end up blocking the sun. This section is between my house and that wood line, and so it's getting enough sun, but if I did anything to interrupt any more sun, it definitely would not be getting enough. So I'm trying to figure out some ways to put some height in here without blocking the sun. And this is to the north of the vegetables here. I'll have this upright narrow redbud. This is lavender twist is similar to that vanilla twist on the other side, except for it has pinkish purple flowers. And I'm putting another weeping redbud on this side over here as well. So I need, like I say, I need to get some height out here, but without blocking the sun on anything. You know, this basil, it's getting 8 hours of direct sun. But if I cut down on that at all, it's just not going to do very well at all. Basil's such a sun feeding plant. So there are just a few things that are new or blooming or interesting. I know I get probably pretty rambly in these videos. I apologize for that. But sometime before the month of June's over, I'll have everything mulched and looking a little better. Looking a little better than it does now. I've kind of gone from not doing any maintenance recently to just trying to get things in the ground. And there's a lot of things laid out and going in the ground that I didn't show in this video that you guys will see throughout the month of June. And I need to get started on propagation as well, because it's definitely time to do that. Thank you very much for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for upcoming videos.